Okatesi ehuna bobrim Viasi AGYENKWA Oji amai Dapem ehuna bobrim Tumira Awawani Okateti Phantom from Asunjehene Na seswani awia Na hinde na beti so Awawani Okukudufu Dana AGYENKWA Viasi AGYENKWA Awawani Awuna bobri Achamobi apayo Obi apayo Obi apayo Obi apayo
But we be interview mamu kwanza once
Vamos tchau muito sorry my eu posso sorry yesremo okay gata sim tinha razão tu sit né é fácil Beba na mema o battery nesh e battery o mi botom hwe na so ma set o camera ni da ofa na face so na fix for mic ne da fam
Tu vai ser. Quem não acha ali?
Você não é bonito. Você não é bonito.
Allez, bébé, on dirait que bébé papa est là. Je vais me appeler bébé papa est là. Oui, il est là. Papa, tu vas bien, Yadi? Combien, papa, tu vas combien?
Siamo.
Yo, we dey hear me. Make a change the sound.
Try. Mic 1, 2. We must start first. Must start. 1.
Okay, 3, 2, 1.
Action.
Yo, Osmafo, ende ye edasronkwa Rabbi afehye no dom bebre wo fi wiase bebre worba na wa bebetwa ho. Osande wo ba na obotwa ho a obi apɛ nzepa a owom na de bia asama ekan de Nyankopɔn somo de bra na botutu esunsumfi na ye Ghana man nyamesom man. Nanso wiase nyina Nyankopɔn na oboy. Nti sekede Ghana ye nyamesom man a eba na asam ne botum ejina do aka che wiase nyina ma wenhu de ampa Ghana ye nyamesom man.
Ghana nyamesom man. Mpo obedi wiase nyina do. Ayende wiase nyina finfin. Ay Ghana. Na nkwan sha so kire na o de chirim na wode Yankopɔn ni pien wode baba. Ndi si Yankopɔn ni pien wo asase finfin da. Ma kire o man nyamesom man.
Se Nyankopɔn ni fie wo wiase ni finfin da na o kire o man no oye nyamesom man. Se erehwa nchebon da it started the rututu esunsumfin embregum nyimpa bebre so wodi dese da wo ba wonche na de wonsa to wodo na wo ba botwa won so a enyama koye edi mo se ehwe percentage a all na etumi kire percentage of esunsum na honhoma wo wo wiase ehwe percentage of esunsumfin a etutu a right now Ghana ye da he 30% and 50% and ehwe improvement reba another still na ye kofom
the esunsumfin no tun you are seeing awesome. Neda memri we are seeing asede okwa oyin abobu anu pako. Bra me to Ghana den na American de ba. Na Australia de ba. Content bia no do oba. Nte dam no see. Da memri oyin awabom ko. Yo.
Mate de onche bia discussion kasi bi bokodo pa oye Judaism sum na Arab fun na most of the time na ya na Arab fun ana Muslims no de bia waka Allah nwa Allah na wonyim da oye Nyankopɔn ena Israel fun so waka Yahweh na ye pede ye hwe isi de Rabbi no ono no ye aboso nyame eba na asam na ebe ka wiase nyina botumi gina wehu de Rabbi no ono no ye aboso nyame na onye Allah no ye Yahweh so
nsam no nyina wo Bible dem nti Bible na oba kire Yankopɔn a oyekor ekwezafo a oso humunje ndire Yankopɔn yakor ekwa Arabia oso humunje ndire Yankopɔn yakor nti Bible na nkasa na oba kire Yankopɔn kor
yewe me da say the
Okronkronyi NyameSomafo papa we dey pani say yes sankofa we papa na ka we say ma wankasa e dey one this time
yo
ni sema na we obaso tirasi nti no dey kuta papa emre ni ni e dey na wo dey ma timemufo wo Ghana ha
Timedi ya nkwamhye na onye abakwasam ade bia pia orehwe Yankopɔn asem wo hu abakwasam wo hu ochede Yankopɔn ni pie owre ebaasa abawiase na ndabakwasam ide abra Yankopɔn bo na wiase wieyin oda bonsam je de hye asase mu nta bonsam je nsi impress bia ba asase da abaye bon nti nara Yankopɔn oye na hmo de obayi ni pie na si ho ama impe bia ba asase no bebezi on Yankopɔn na chirin we biaru no de na bon ache nti ohoma bon pache se impe wu na se bon wo do in ya hima monko enti Yankopɔn obonazi asasni weyim osme etumfo akron bewiase ansa na adam reba na tumotor akron ono no besi makakaba olisi ho echi na ama Israel Ahye Solomon nusu osinadin na mumuna nkwan shansu da hoda nda odo echirin yankopon nifie awtole ba asam baba na mawtole ba asin oyeka sisin da wo meka oyeka sisin da wo Israel na kasiya yin dai abopuna sunsum na wo hwe makaka abaro abopuna sunsum na wo hwe Jerusalem temple no do na yi etumpo na wo hwe no asan ye djuma kase ayda akwa maka ye bore pache ekwe Israel ye bore pache na yi nneme esun na oye manimpe ase nneme ese na impa tenase onye nje wasase do ensi nna ye ya asase oye bore pache o chire fi ya yeresa mo to bi o ya obi o hweba mo to bi o ya abrebo ye mo to bi o ya kunyimudi tumudi mo to bi o ya mpuntu mo de awen onye kunyimudi daman na ma esien wo ho ma yimpara sin biara se yimpara sin biara na mo ho na damo na ma esien yene mo ba sen po a o boto asase ha ebien po ho boto sanda wo ho na bia wa pomudin a wa pomudin botuma akọ akayo adwuma ma yi afia da ba bia so ye na ba yeska da ba obra enti yankopon wa ye da memiri adum kase amawiase aya adum kase amawiase eyinti da memiri ohia da Ghana yi biara asana aduna wo mdoro o wiase de na so Ghana na headquarters otu ana mo no baba gino ho ebia makene aman yamesam nyame mu ya ho yankopon ho yimnzi nyi Ghana ha nkira mbi temple besi nche impepi wo ho ato ho ense abribia dra yebaye na nkropa wo hu yansa no wa ban wara wabaji wo ho
yo Osumafo asa me hwede obe
okay Okronkronyi NyameSomafo from the question that the journalist asked him from the beginning, he wanted to know that why is it that the entire earth belongs to God, but yet Ghana is mentioned by him, the true messenger of God, that Ghana is God's appointed nation. And it says that Okronkronyi NyameSomafo said that, yes, Ghana is God's appointed nation, and it is in the prophecies that Ghana is the center of the world. That right now, everybody, every knowledgeable person knew that Ghana is the center of the world. And the prophecy says that God's holy house or his holy temple will be built in the center of the world. And therefore, that is why we have to know that Ghana is the chosen nation or appointed nation by God. Again, he asked Okronkronyi NyameSomafo that he would like to know that Okronkronyi NyameSomafo began this work, and he said he is casting out evil powers in the nation, and that he would like to know which percentage has he done so far. Okronkronyi NyameSomafo said with the evil powers that he is casting them, it's not only pertaining to Ghana, but rather to the entire world. And so as he's casting them from the Africa continent, it is also evil powers that are in America, in Asia, everywhere. They are all coming, and he's casting all of them. So it's not to say that percentage of evil powers cast out of Ghana. Rather, it is the entire world that he is working on, the entire earth that he is casting the evil powers on. It is this that the journalist again asked Okronkronyi NyameSomafo that he wished to know, as him has come as a true messenger, what word does he have for the people of Ghana or the people of the world to know that yes, he is a messenger sent? Yes, with this, then the question came that Okronkronyi NyameSomafo, a festival such as big like this that he always organizes for humanity, we would like to get his point of view. Why this festival and why at this time to humanity? Okronkronyi NyameSomafo said that yes, the work that he is doing now, the festival that he is organizing for humanity now, it is based on prophecy and history. And that when we go to God's knowledge, the biblical knowledge, the knowledge of God that is descended onto the earth, we will find it in the prophecies and then in the history. He said that yes, the Most High God have given his holy house or his holy temple to forgive the sins of humanity. And that as he has created the earth, when man sinned, then their sin is upon them and they die with it, they will not attain salvation. Therefore, the coming of God's holy house on earth to forgive the sin of men. Okronkronyi NyameSomafo explained and said that as he created the earth, as the Most High God created the earth, 9 mighty ones named Adam descended onto the earth. And anytime they come, they spend number of years and then they leave. He said it is the 9th one who came to build the first holy temple on earth, which is the Kaaba. Okronkronyi NyameSomafo said that that was what Abraham then rebuilt it, and that was what is serving at Mecca, which is called the Kaaba. He said this forgive the sins of men. In order for men not to die with their sins, the holy temple is there for them. He said later, then Solomon also was instructed by the Most High God to build his holy temple in Jerusalem in Israel. Okronkronyi NyameSomafo said that the prophecy again is there saying that in the end of days, the third holy temple of the Most High God will come onto the earth, and it is it that has come now. Okronkronyi NyameSomafo said that this is the holy temple that is prophesied. It will come in the end of days, which will add up to the former two to become the third one. And he said with this, it is said that its strength is bigger than the former. He explained to us and said that the former holy temple that exists, it is spirits and angels that are descending on it, that are taking charge of it. And that the holy temple at called the Kaaba, it is spirits and angels that are taking charge of it. The one in Jerusalem, the spirits and angels that are taking charge of it. But the third holy temple that has come now, he said it is the mighty ones that are charged to take care of the holy temple. Again, the third holy temple is having 7 key things to give to humanity. 6 of them are for humanity to live life with on earth. He explained that today, which is the beginning of the festival, Okronkronyi NyameSomafo said, it is forgiveness of sin. Then the next day, which will be tomorrow, he explained that it is healing. All form of sickness that you are suffering when you come around the holy temple, you will gain the healing. Again, the third day he said it is childbearing. Those who are seeking to have child to come to the holy temple, you come and then you bear the child. Again, the what follows is Okronkronyi NyameSomafo said prosperity in life. That all of these that is mentioned, 6 of them are for humanity to live life with. Followed, he said it comes with power. Those who seek to gain power on earth in whatever endeavor they see themselves, he said that follows. Then again, what follows again, Okronkronyi NyameSomafo said, that is also success in life. That whatever you do, you have to see success in it. And then what sum it up is victory in life. So Okronkronyi NyameSomafo said, these 6 things that he has mentioned out of the 7, it is for humanity to live life with. He said, the people of Ghana will lack the word of God and the knowledge of God. Should we have it, as the holy temple has been built and he has begun this work saying to us that when you come around the holy temple, this and that is what you are going to achieve. He said many would have come around the holy temple if we have the knowledge of God and we have the word of God. But we lack that. That is the reason we continue to struggle and we remain adamant to the good news he has brought to us. But Okronkronyi NyameSomafo said the festival will continue, and as he keep organizing the festival, the world, the nation will come to realization and we shall all come to take part in it.
Okronkronyi NyameSomafo asama yepede yebisa sisi anye de se hwe temple ba asa ni nyina nzepa nkokrope na owom a oye bonfeche ma owo Israel na ma owo Mecca na yepede yebisa de rabbi o wahai nzepa omunu doso obi bebisa de dadzo poma na osimin ono nti na madam nzepa owom na odoso na na
ensema kan show de sunsun na bofo Arabian on Israel dundo tumu po yeso wojina da adakuma no do nti deminti na ma in na ho de no koso Abopo one sayer, a Minzio was a bop on sayer. A tomb from what sayer. We better a tomb from away. And to the other man, Ojama, a tomb far. What did you do?
NyameSomafo, what's a me there? Yankupon unjinaza yipa ordinance yedo. Adi so amikuyanda the media dance there. Walankasa neye temple wa nesi. Nti baza no woman yimpa botwa ho a na no ho atom. Bibi shema na because yentase.
Da makan. Iminzia isuma na pe na makan asam. Awa aman Ghana na wiase na da. O de kan Yankopon afie no wonsi na yimpa. Eden hore so obi asi Yankopon afie na ore hu na ansra ma wote. Abraham obesi Yankopon afie opi abofo no mu. Ahin Solomon opi sunsum no mu. NyameSomafo opi laje no mu. Edemi minzin ayde wiase. Enti sakana Yankopon nyina da yimpa den sa yedo a yede ba ho yeye.
Okronkronyi, we say for Sweden there, opedo who the status of Ghana now.
Ghana the ye ya. E bi ontum yeye Jesus me gina nsana. So da bia maka asma wonje ntum. Maka asma wonje ntum. Na adon so akworo so wa awot wo hu. To won ma ne mo adwe. Owi asesera wo wi. If you made a quay, a box asima first way wouldn't. Now what your number 170 do, and the walk number 700 do. Woke us pa. Oh yeah, and my brother Mransa will be 18 years, look at 30 years. Oh, woke us see. Walk us last in Filadon. Yarabas the mother, Yarabas walk us. So just 700. So of course I see in accident the mother, Muslim send the mother. I want you to know what the man obesi. The baby and to Mrs. Sa. Yes, also original son.
And we cut there is a Ghana is Asher Muhammad Nisi. It's the Miki na the Muhammad, no impartation today. On above one hand.
Nam walk a crowd, American. I'm watching walk over a crowd. Nam wine, no by year. And I will know on your mamma Nasa. I bear being over what 1 million per year.
Sisiano. A man for Binomude, Udino or Somafo, no, a man for Binomuso de Ato or Monso. A Binomuso. Miracle attempts na o say enye adwuma no sisi a omoto say omunyusu dio nti omodi omonsa na o kasa na o kan bia na omoto de adwuma sisi a ye ne wo ne omo no dia na abaya me ahu difference e wo oni omonten sanse o ma hya ase esua nti dia na ebesi me ahu difference e wo oni omontem
wal answer ye dey
omodi omonsa esa yare te sese ne asisi omu nyina esuesua omu so omodi omunsa na esa yare omu mfa nro ni nsuo biom obi so say ye frɛ na Somafo wafa udin na to no so enti ne o ye na bi na asisi ya omu so eye mamanfo so edi hu adanse enti dia na obeye ma ye hu nse difference e wo ni omuntem ma ye hu se oni Somafo na Nyame asoma aba asase isu no dia na obeye me
e bia ye ho ameba ye oyimunzia amana nyimpa wo mi na wonyi Anjira makase kwa njomba. Da ma ye yimpe basira ye bi. Makase na kwa eburechi ka ye adwuma. Ma de kwankwa bia Yankopon fie otreba asan ba. Ma de asun ka so aba. Ma etum wo ma so aba. Abra yimpe wotuma ye. Ento yimunzia onye Ghana nti no yimpe obi so na ya de kuru bia o no wonyina wa apa na ya onsedam. Mama yino bia ntum ye bi o wiase ye Ghana.
So for be I can online no today. Here fantiful ye ada. Na fantin bi oboko ebu bia oye presidency obewu.
waka po waka de day Professor Jane Mesa wewu ne no asam today embribi wo kasa mu kada ahya ne zen na zen hyan aye adwuma ana oteden wadaroma
na kada oba nka na mo wewu no ho na nka na ma ahya ne zen amna me ni nhye oba nka ho na eso sampanzo fra wa adwene ye adwene wo hwema chire kun a da ma don sibio mpansin panyefo so wa adwene wo de ye adwuma no wo hwema chire kun a pansin bia na katna ho mo wu bio osan SUMASEM ho asam wo ho yankopon de na pe na me ka chire ho ono onye bi da de ma so pom wo ye nya obon 17 wo ye hwa bi da onye ne mu ke ne za so da mo so da na o sun ne bi ahwi na one Canada and one country. Apa baby on your sapina, mobile, went to my yet. Then being a Danny or I'm not considering, not time show. And so, you mean, you know, you get a hard to be American. No, so we back as I know me, I would the me, I will cook. Yankopon go from one customer. It was the master boy and so you be. And some fans of who are some now walking, or yes, SUMASEM or NyameSomafo. Temple Franca was much the queen, much the home, fencing. Now, men talk a cat, the men swallow, I've been into Onsibio. The mamma can't or bank home, or your banner, the master non can be.
Obiaboko Biano, Mobisa Nobisi.
That's why I was sure the hole.
The fancy Bodo Biano.
Fancy is not about to go on a man by ye. Why are you one when I want to Uncle Suhu. Get up and about to go. Enjoy and
what I say, Yakupom out 10 years, if your mind gun, not no money, now you maybe said the 10 years, no, Edru. The Breben is soon you with your men, I can find him.
A first one teen, Markan Hada, can buy him by simple. The oil cassa about that, and the Obia and Konokrum. The Mokaya. Osumly Jan, the Macasanaba, Osmania, the Casanama. The man could meet to be Casanaba, Obia, Konokrum. As soon as someone want me now, or Yahoho. I can't pay for you was South African, what would the Ganaha? Zonia, or Yahoho. The Casanaba will be uncle Unyaboko.
Okay, Nipocho. Ese Yankupon ni Kroni Israel, Arabia ne Ghana. Bocho ne Togo funa zino so. Ayen Yankupon obo.
Mambo abon semje ampamba akana Mambo abon semje ampamba Arabia. Mambo abon semje ampamba Israel. I want na him no. The side brother who upon one, no saying him Yako. Them not as
Papa, after 2025, yes, we won't adoso, and a Yarena na ATATC. Again, now they war at the Magana for any Viasina.
I'm going to make a child of one home. Now, or some onion and top. Now, something will be a baby. I don't want to Ghana.
Papa, the son, Ghana, send Yamini every side, and I feel Yanko Bobo Mukakra. Can you be about Betramone Yakobolia, Yanshe Gradi, and any Ubiani? Nansono, Nanu idea about Sweden, and I say, and such a Rabia Bem. Papa, what's the Bia Okan in Miribino? And no Nasha say dead, ye, Ghana, ye,
born home.
I say, a membono, and Sayaka Crabbe Bemuno, and no Nasha see Yana.
Born us on a pattern in China. That's it. I am sure to train him to be good.
It's there, Osumi, Onjinaya. Ghana onye ye. At the same time, so it's the Safantin soon Kede Guana, Ghana onye ye. And say Fantin say, assuming Jina Fantin Kokede Eguana on Ghana be another.
Did I be a boom? Sassy. Or swimming in Yano on Yakasi. Or swimming obedient, Domino Bajatman on the Nanu. It
is a Ghana, you know, Bekeda, no, as some Kado or a rabbi, Nemfi if Omani na Anjina to onu hude Rabbi ena wabwa nemfi onuba still Ghana be announce don ye.
Omana Anja to Mabasai. Only Paco na was no monoyim. Obia wa mado bese no we hunu wajato.
Okay. Okronkronyi Somafo Yawoh say Moses oko Pharaoh ho. E de ni tumi ekoi. Nka ye besra o say oso ori tumi be ko omanpanyin ho. Na waji atum say oman no enyi som ni ntum. Na ho kire bebre bi e wo oman no ni nyina nko. Esan say oni Osomafo a Nyame asoma. Moses ye bi no yeso ye pese o ye bi sa amaye.
Oh, Moses on Yankopana na osoma do nko. Moses Yankopana na osoma do nko pero ho. Ena na okore bi. Minya nkrebia de nko omanpanyin ho. Nzam samara makompo agire mbisa hwe nsana. Ntum nko ndama yi.
Papa de krakra odi tatwo di amaye na ye.
Mama twetwa mo ara wonje osoma ntum. Oh, ebinse. Ora. O api de region bia obi nkakakra. Region bia obi nkakakra. Na ye robot to pipi do bia de. Boss o jona report do. Nda water port no hunsu.
Ene ye ekoso wiase akwana nyina ene se Yesu wabewu e de age yankwa na sese wo so kasa Messiah no waba se de Yesu Kristo kan wo se nyame ne Messiah no na Messiah no odimachi a oba me kasa kro wo montam na nsumu hu no ene Messiah na ba ebeye den na Kristofo no a sabi omunyina adwen akudi se Yesu agu na wode ne moja bedi yen ebeye den no mu so ehunu se Messiah na ba.
Honestly, na waboso Yankopon na nsem. Obi a wanye nzen obokun. Na huma wo wunya Yankopon a wonje osomentum. Huma wo wunya Yankopon a wonje NyameSomafo. Okun yara. Azumba da me yere Moses na abredo. Da me yere kwanshi na abredo, da me pepe na wo so abredo. Az Moses na do man pero po anya ntum to onya gu nsunu mu. Kwanshi ni ba na okasa achara apona ho enwanye nmu kun onya gu sanu do. Da ma na basi wo Ghana ha. On wara umunyi yo man pe mbom bibio keke bi de. Ghana po wonye waso wo membre sha. Era mra kan bi. Ya na kwa anya na kwa sawa ze da mo membre no kwa echi de. Do be bo hu de. Da mo nsem pi yo sha asna nche de biada. Encho me yedam na ose. Yedam na nche mpa wu. Nche so mu yin mu ho hwe. Oyo osuminsi oja wonje ntum wu Ghana hadaman. Okore we papa. Za mi po kasa bada. Awora yin pa 7 million wo Ghana ha wo osumi ho. Tese wondu be biada.
NyameSomafo ya. Em say Ghana enough boko ntokwesi wo pa na wo se mantem no wachi mo nyina na ka enough abeko. Na nsa na bedu ono sa boko ntokwara beba form ana ase etisen.
Oh. Oyin mo hwera tin bi no reda mazin. Na me mapira woji ya obeja Yesu japo ana principle. Wo dem ko tin no botum wa mo eja bi. Tum ne hwe ho a obeja ko.
Okay, the better say pacho ye fa questions na
Eyinsi na nchoro. Aman empempo a wo mo hwe mechire kwan. Osanta sebredem yan Ghana here mpo. Ena se assemblies kro bi do a. Ahina wo kro mo kra won ka proko o ma kwan fo amra. O ma kwan fo bapɛ wo ba chere sense ma abandam. Oye ho ada na adin so ajai. Ojai. Na nda de ma zo onyi ho. Da ma so po ekohwefu a wa yo me na aban na nyi wo do won ya ma na hwe. Enti sa aban na nyi bere Osomafo aban na mu Nyame ni pa aban na mu hwe na cheku ya. No da mo bo ma mo bo ho.
Okay. So Okronkronyi NyameSomafo are answering a couple of questions that came to him. The first question was asked that he would like to know that as he has come and built the third holy temple, he mentioned that the temple in Israel, the temple in Arabia, it is only there for forgiveness of sin. But with this third holy temple, it has so many things that it gives to humanity. So the one who asked the question said he would like to know, is it that there is a different thing that has been placed in this third holy temple that is causing that, or the rod of staff that he placed in the third holy temple that is causing that? It is this that Okronkronyi NyameSomafo said that is not it. He said, with the Most High God, his ways are different. And that the one that he sent, Abraham, who came to rebuild the temple in Arabia called the Kaaba, he said he is coming from the group of angels. And then Solomon, who was instructed to build the Israelites temple in Jerusalem, Okronkronyi NyameSomafo said he also came from the group of spirits. Okronkronyi NyameSomafo explained and said that with this third holy temple, he who is a messenger of God is also coming from the group of the Elijahs and came to build it. So he said it is not to say that it is built by human beings. He said that is not how it is. It is the Most High God who sent one of the heavenly populates to come onto the earth in the liking of man or in the form of man to come and initiate the holy temple on earth. It is this that a question also came that he would like to know that Okronkronyi NyameSomafo in his teachings mentioned that God does not dwell in things made by men or made by hands of men. And he himself knew very well that Okronkronyi NyameSomafo is the one who led or who caused the construction of this temple. So why is it also working in that manner? Okronkronyi NyameSomafo said, as he has said, it is not to say that the human being will get up and build a temple of such a kind. He said, no, that those who build the temple are those that are sent from the heavens by the Most High God to come on earth and build the holy temple. So he should not just justify to say that him, as he see him to be a mortal being or to be a man, he has come to build a holy temple. No, he is a messenger sent from the heavens unto the earth, but he came in the form of man. And that is why we say it so. And so the holy temple is built by messengers who are sent from the heavens unto the earth. Then the question also came that now that he's on earth, letting us understand that he is a messenger of God, many of the Christians are also claiming, also messengers of God. He has said that these material things made by men that we use as direction to our prayers is not in the like of God, and God forbid that. And yet now our Christians leaders are also claiming that they are not using them again. They are also administering healing with their hands as he's doing, and that what can he do to let us know the difference or differentiate between him as a messenger of God and those so-called Christian pastors who are also claiming to be messengers of God? Okronkronyi NyameSomafo answered and said that it is because we lack the knowledge. And he said that the knowledge of God is not with us, the people of Ghana. And that is why we believe in them. That these pastors are also, as they are saying, they are sent by God. He said if we have the knowledge of God, we will not have even come up with such a statement. Because what he is doing, that he speak and his speech travel across borders or boundaries to go and work in people's life. Again, he lay hand on people and again they are healing. He said there is none who can do that. And this alone should give us the knowledge that there is nobody on earth that can do what he is doing. So Okronkronyi NyameSomafo said, if we have the knowledge of God, this will not have even come up. It is by this that a question came to him that somebody asked on the online from Sweden that he would like to know the status or the status of Ghana in our current dispensation. Okronkronyi NyameSomafo said, if we would like to know that what is telling us that Ghana is not changing from, say, the difficulties we are going through, going down the drain as we see, he said nothing will change. And that unless we accept the religion before things will turn around. Okronkronyi NyameSomafo said when it comes to the death rate, it has increased. It's on the rise. He said initially it was around 170, by now it is around 700. And many will die than we knew about it previously. He said those who are going to die are also the young ones from the ages of 18 to 30. Okronkronyi NyameSomafo, they are those that will be dying. And again, he explained again that the difficulties in the nation, it is that has gone down a little bit. He said that has reduced to about 90, and so things will be a little mild for us, we will have it a bit comfortable than previous. Okronkronyi NyameSomafo, the sicknesses and the ailment, he said that is also on the rise and we shall experience it the more. It is this that a question came to him that, okay, if that is the case, what is it about the leadership of Ghana? That it is being said by some pastors on the online preachings that anytime a fancy person in the nation Ghana gets closer to the stool of Ghana or the presidency of Ghana, he or she has to be eliminated. Has even said it and continued to say up to the point that he has spelled it out that the recent vice president of Ghana, she is even dead because she's also hailing from the fancy land. Okronkronyi NyameSomafo said, if the fancy people and the fancy leaders should turn and come to him, he will tell them the hidden issue about these happenings. And that it is something that is there, and that unless they come to him, he will reveal to them the secret about it. And then again, put a stop to it, so that no fancy person will get to the stool or the presidency and then will be eliminated or will die. Okronkronyi NyameSomafo said that is what is there. If the fancy leaders come to him, he will give them the way and then also bring solution to the problem that is happening. But he mentioned to us that as the question came to him that, so does it mean, as he's saying, he mentioned that if the fancy person get to the stool, Ghana will turn around. Does it mean if the religion come to place and then the fancy person come to the stool, would Ghana turn around? He said no. These two things work hand in hand, but yet the religion being accepted by the nation is the first thing, is a priority. If the nation accepts the religion, then things will turn around. We will see Ghana flourishing. And it is not to say that the one from the religion who will become a president and he alone knew about this religion and he is a president and so Ghana will change. He said that is not how it's going to be. Unless the entire nation have come into acceptance and believe in the religion, it is this that will turn things around. Okronkronyi NyameSomafo continue to say that his final words that he has for us is that we should change our ways and come to accept the religion. That is the only way we, the people of Ghana, will have our way. It is by this that the question came to him that yes, as Moses came, he went to King Pharaoh in Egypt to tell him that God said he should liberate his people. He said that yes, as he has said, he wanted Okronkronyi NyameSomafo to also get to the presidency and announce his presence as the messenger of God in the nation. Okronkronyi NyameSomafo said that is not how it happened. And with Moses, God instructed him to go to the King Pharaoh. And that with him, he never had such a message to go to king, to go to the presidency. And that if he like to go to the presidency and announce his presence, unless he requests or confirms from the Most High God before he can do that. So Okronkronyi NyameSomafo said that is how it is, that time too will come. It is this that Okronkronyi NyameSomafo continue to say that yes, unless we the people of Ghana accept the religion, the nation will not. They asked him that yes, how is it going to be? The rain, the downpour of rain in our recent time, how is it going to be? Okronkronyi NyameSomafo said that is also not going to be like we have it previously. He said the rain, as he said, it is not going to be like it is, but all regions will have a bit of the downpour of rain to aid them in whatever they are doing, but it's not going to be like the previous. Okronkronyi NyameSomafo, in explaining, mentioned that as he has said, the question came to him that he has said that a number of years is given to him to get done with the casting of the evil powers in the nation. And he said with that, he has mentioned, if we could remember, that when that time comes, a word will come to him which he will utter, that all strangers in the nation should leave, and that the evil powers who are in the nation of Okronkronyi NyameSomafo said, they are all strangers in the nation, and that our ancestors went for them from the Central Africa and they brought them here. So when that time reached and he said that all strangers should leave, they would all leave the nation. So Okronkronyi NyameSomafo said that time will come, and when the religion is established, the message will come to him, he will deliver. His final words to us is this: we, the people of Ghana, should strive and then convert our way and come into the religion. It is this that will turn the destiny of the nation around, and not what we are doing, not how we are worshiping. Thank you.
Bello one
RABBI
RABBI
NYAMESOMAFO RABBI Kasiam, Rabia Kase, 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 Kasiam, Kasiam, Rabia Kase, 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 Kasiam,
terminator